All right, I'm really stoked to be interviewing someone that I know very well, and that's someone who's also kind of taking over the internet at the moment. This person's name is Dominic, Zaca. Oh, you know, the white girl in me. And I mean, how do I even explain who you are? I mean, you are currently, you said you're at celebrity status, which I totally see. Social media influencer, social media activist, queer person, if you're okay with me saying that, and just all around fabulous human being. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
I'm really excited to be here.
I can't do no small talk, no small talk. I'm not with the small talk. Can't be with the small talk.
So let's get straight into it, because someone watching this might not actually, or listening to this, might not know anything about you. So I want to break it down for them, right? So who are you? That's a very big question, but let's start with, what do you identify as? What are your pronouns?
Okay. I'm non-binary, therefore my pronouns are they, them. And to make South Africa comfortable, I also will subscribe to she.
Okay.
So they, them, she.
Which one do you prefer?
They or them.
They or them. Okay. That's so funny, because I always thought it was the other way around, that you preferred she. And I was telling someone about this interview today, and I kept jumping in between, like, yeah, they, and then I was like, and then she, but no he's. No he's.
No he's.
I
You
promise.
you literally could call me a zombie if that's you can call me anything. You can call me any inanimate object. I would not be offended. But calling me a he, yeah, no, we have a problem.
Why?
I think for so long I have had to struggle with trying to fit into the whole standard of being a man, and I failed at it. I've been too feminine to be a man, and then I was gay, and then also people in South Africa, unfortunately, are not the smartest all the time, because they don't even know how to differentiate between gender and sexuality. Because the moment they think you're gay, then that means you are forsaking your gender. And I'm like, no, that just means my gender likes your gender. It doesn't mean that my gender changes. So I'm trying to run away from everything that manlyhood and manliness comes with. I don't think I form part and parcel of any of it, because all the time I was told I wasn't good enough to be a man. So why must I now try and stick to something that I'm told I'm not good at? But over and above that, it doesn't feel natural to me for you to call me a man. I'd rather you call me female, even though I don't quite particularly like it, but I'm okay with it.
Well, I mean, ultimately you've chosen non-binary, so
Basically.
That's first prize, right?
Right.
Tell me, you said you are a gay person. That would be the correct terminology. Yes, a gay person. Sorry, I almost said gay man, but that is incorrect, and that would take us back. Get yourself together. Okay, so how do the men that you date feel about you being non-binary, you being very female presenting? How does that work?
Look, it's only worked better now, the older that I am. I'm 30 years of age, and only now are men starting to respect my choice at me saying that I'm feminine presenting. Because back then, when you used to date, for those of you who are anywhere near my age group, guys will say I want fit, mask, tall, and I don't fit any of those. And during the times of a mix-it, when you were to describe yourself to a suitor, you had to tell them whether you're feminine presenting, and I was like, I'm just human. So for the longest of time, I've had to battle with how to present, which I think that's why it took me so long to even put on a dress for the very first time. But now the men that I date, they like it. Hey, I think they like it for their own freaky things.
I think so.
But they're more than okay with me walking in a suit, and me walking in lingerie, or me walking in a dress.
Or naked.
Yeah.
So
So all parts of me are appreciated. And when I am with someone who I feel, even when I explain, they still don't get me, I walk away. I'd rather be single than be with someone who I have to conform into something that I'm not. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I'm old now, near retirement.
Oh, please. Older. I'm also almost 30, by the way, so now I feel grey all of a sudden.
No, in gay years, I'm old.
Okay.
In gay years, I'm super old.
Why?
In gay years, you're either a twink, which is young,
Yeah.
a teenage presenting, or you have a six-pack, and then therefore you can get away with saying you are 28, 26. And then when you are fat and you are 30, you're equivalent of a 45-year-old bald man that has 0 rands in their account.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so gay years work faster than dog years.
Oh no. I feel like being within the queer community is so complicated, right? And obviously the choice is always be yourself, be who you are. That's the important part. But it's tricky being in the community. Because of society, because there are so many different layers and levels. It's very complicated. Do you ever wish that you were a straight man?
No. I would rather have the beatings and bashings of being within the queer community than have to be a straight man. And here's my reasoning. Straight men already have this predisposed notion that the world belongs to them because that's what they've been taught. That's what they've been given. They've pastors, their uncles, their friends, the jokes they make. I mean, if you were to remove misogyny, if you were to remove queer baiting, homophobia, or any problematic subtext to a straight man's conversation and then tell him to be funny, it's not funny anymore. Exactly. The only reason straight men exist is because the world was made for them and the rest of us are just trying to fit in. Women have been doing that and still are doing it. We still celebrate when someone is a CEO of something that has longevity of where men took over. I don't want to be associated with that. Look at any problem that exists in South Africa or in Africa. And if you just 10 seconds of reading, a man appears.
Oh, for sure.
Because then they're part of the problem. So I would rather be part of a community that is hated, but they're trying to better themselves and they're just trying to exist. Because when gay people fight and win the fights they're fighting, it's never just a win for them. Women and gay men are so intertwined that they don't even realize it. They are so intertwined that we struggle with the same things almost, except for anatomy. Anatomy-wise, we'll never struggle with the same thing. But society and work and everything, we literally are struggling through the same thing. We are all trying to get respect. We are all trying to have our voices listened to. No one wants to be painted as an angry woman or as an angry gay person. And unfortunately, the moment you stand up for yourself, you then get that label. Then you have to work with that label. Then when you get to the workplace, you have to keep quiet because then you're a diva if you don't, or if you do speak out. And then you also have to dress a certain way because you know there's a room filled with men. Now you're not dressing for yourself. You're dressing because Stephen Bongani and Stuart are now going to look at you and oogle at your assets. So I don't want to be part of anything that is associated with harm. And unfortunately, being a straight man is harm. We can't walk out in public. Why? There's a straight man somewhere in the corner who's decided that corner belongs to him and anyone that walks past it belongs to him. So, no, I would rather be gay and be crucified for liking other men.
Okay. It's a good response, and I could see how passionate you got about it, and it actually made me think of some of the things you put on the internet, right? And I think this is a good point to kind of enter that. So you are on TikTok. You've got almost 500,000 followers.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, amazing.
Thank you.
And something that I found with your TikTok videos is you are just so authentically yourself. You are laughing, you think you are, and you are, don't get me wrong, but you know who you are, you know you're amazing, you think you're the bee's knees, you are the bee's knees, and it's amazing to see, and it's so refreshing. And I think that's what makes you so popular among the people that follow you, because it feeds off of that, right? But now I'm interested because you've been posting lately a couple of things about, because obviously you get a lot of hate as well. A lot of straight men, South African men, posting, I couldn't understand half of them because it's not in my language, but what I could imagine is homophobic slurs. And you've been kind of very vocal about taking that to the next level, kind of taking them on. Tell me about that.
So, I got sick and tired of crying every time someone wrote something homophobic to me. I got sick and tired of doubting myself and feeling less and feeling like the life I'm living is wrong. Whether it's wrong or not, that's for whoever I'm going to meet when life ends, right? To tell me that actually, mate, what you are doing is not what I sent you to do. You know what I mean? Apart from that, no one has the right to tell me how to live my life. So a lot of these straight men who I don't really think are entirely straight, because I do not see a straight man who's taking care of his family, taking care of his kids, making sure his retirement policies are paid, making sure his funeral plans are paid, making sure investments are set out for his kids, making sure he has wealth that's going to build beyond him and his children, and it's going to be generational. Has time to be worried about who Dominic is kissing and who Dominic is laying in bed with. So it tells me that the former or the latter or the opposite of that man is then this man that has time to come to my TikTok and trust me, the things they say, be grateful that you don't know how to read vernac, because I think as the emotional being that I know you are, you'd probably sit there and cry. So I then decided I'm tired of texting you back and forth. I want to hit you where it hurts. And I can't hit you. I can, but I don't want to. So let's figure out what's the solution. I'm smart, right? And you think you are smart. So let's see how smart we can be together. So I take the comments. I spend hours, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. Sometimes I just sit in your profile for 6 months, just waiting for you to slip up and post something that's going to show me where you work or where you live or who's associated with you. And eventually they slip up. And when they do, I then find you. I find your employer, I find your school, I find your body corporate, whatever power you report to, I find it. I take your comments, I send it to them. And then South Africa has this thing of saying, you are firing people. I don't have a company to fire people. I just take what you wrote and I prove that it is you. I send it to your employer and they make an informed decision, because companies are about inclusivity and you are against what they're forming. So then they take the decision to fire you. And then you get the ones who are saying, but that's their bread and butter. It was not their bread and butter when they were attacking me. So I am matching energies, and I'll keep saying that. You come at me sideways, I will match energies, and I will make sure that you get the punishment that you didn't think you deserve. Because if homophobia is your career that you want, clearly your 9 to 5 is distracting you from it. So I'm giving you the opportunity to pursue your calling.
Wow, that is like, it's not funny, but just the way you said that was so, like, it almost gave me goosebumps. Do you feel that, are you doing this for you, or are you doing this for the people who are following you, who are experiencing the bullying and the homophobia, but don't have the strength to stand up to it, or bit of both?
I think watching them cower and watching them, and I know it's going to sound a bit sadistic, maybe, I don't know. Watching them apologize, I do that for me.
Okay.
Watching them lose their job and then their circle of friends go, we told you though, you shouldn't have done that. Now you shouldn't have done that. That I'm doing for everyone else. Because in my world, if I can get one homophobe fired, it doesn't affect them. It affects them and their circle of friends, because now people go, so clearly I can get fired for this. Because we can't eradicate homophobia completely. Just like how you can't eradicate racism. There are families who, when they sit on the table, they discuss black people like slaves. And that's just what it is. That's just the normality in public. They're okay. And so that's the same thing with homophobia. You can't remove it from everyone and with everyone. What I'm trying to help you do, however, do it in the confines of your home. Don't let it affect me. So I'm doing it so that the child who's going to grow up like Dominic or be a Dominic, that they don't have to go through the persecution that I'm going through for something that they didn't ask for. Because I didn't ask to like other men. I didn't ask to feel comfortable in a wig and long hair and makeup. I didn't ask for all of these things. That's just who I am. And if next month I decide, or my body decides, you'd look good in a pair of breasts, and I play with idea and I seek therapy and I seek counseling, I talk to my family and they're okay with it, and I'm getting blessed with my money, it still shouldn't affect you.
No, absolutely.
So I am fighting. I don't even think I'm fighting. I'm correcting wrongs for the next generation, because the current generation we have, everyone thinks they have an opinion and their opinion matters. And to be very honest, not all of our opinions matter. What I'm saying right now may not matter to a lot of people.
That's true. But I definitely think it carries some weight. A part of me wonders, though, are you receiving any backlash, not necessarily from the community of people who would back these men? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Are you receiving any kind of backlash from the greater society for what some might call like your revenge plots?
Yeah, I am. I get quite a lot of people and churches and churchgoers who see the need to come and inform me how what I'm doing is wrong. My question to them is always one: you are telling me what's wrong when I'm standing up for myself against a homophobe, which, by the way, it is a hate crime. But when this person was committing the crime, you sat there and giggled and laughed and didn't call them to order. So what you are telling me, it's okay for them to be hateful, spiteful, and potentially hurt me. But when I'm standing up for myself, because if you go through my videos, you'll never find any vulgar wording. You'll never find any obtuse narrative. It's just, it is what it is. That's what it is. But when this is happening, none of these people are going, oh my God, this is Dominic, stop. This is wrong. Don't do this to Dominic. None of them are. But the moment Dominic stands up and the moment I go, what you are doing is wrong, and because you don't know that it's wrong, let me teach you a lesson beyond social media. Let me get you fired. Let me get you disbarred from school. Let me get you deregistered. Then only people then want to chime in on a ethos of I don't even know the proper English for whatever it is that they're trying to do. So yes, I do get backlash from it. Do I care? No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, on a lighter note, you are making money from TikTok, yes?
Of course.
You know what I mean? Tell me a little bit about your journey, because firstly, I just want to say congratulations. You've been nominated for Social Media Activist of the Year. Tell me a bit more about that.
So the nomination came about, I literally was naked. I was naked and I wanted to change the song on my phone. And as I was changing the song, I had a lot of Instagram. Now, when you have a lot of Instagram notifications, either you are trending because maybe your nudes are out there and you didn't intend for them to be. So I click on Instagram and it's a nomination, and the general public basically is so excited that I'm nominated. So I'm nominated for the SASMAs, for a Social Media Activist of the Year. I didn't know I was an activist. I just knew I had a loud mouth and I was going to stand up for myself as loud as I can. The awards take place at the end of October. It is a public voting. All of the public information is on my social media. And yeah, I mean, I've had TikTok for like a year, 2 months, and to have any accolade is amazing, and one that says your loudness is enough. So yeah, I'm super excited.
I think it's beautiful to, you know, although there is all this hatred and negativity, there is the other side, quite literally, of just the immense love and appreciation. And I know that you are such an inspiration to so many young people in, I think, the world right now. Pressure.
Funny enough, Monique, I thought I was known in South Africa. No. I was walking in Sandton City and there was these guys from Uganda.
Okay.
Let's start there. Anti-gay law, Uganda.
Yes, that one.
A group of them, probably 15, 16. I'm with my cousin, Joy. Joy.
Joy.
And this lady comes running to me and she goes, oh my God, it's you. And she hugs me. And I could hear an accent. It's not that. I'm like, where are you from? She's like, Uganda. I'm like, who? Okay. And then even the men greeted and they hugged me. And it's not the first time. I have people from the UK, the US. I trained in the US almost once every month. So my platform is not South African. It is a South African story that is viewed on a global platform. And I thought I'd have to be on some form of television for that to happen. And whilst I am on television, I still have the same impact without the cameras.
I think that's so crazy,
Right.
right?
Right.
Speaking of television, I love how beautifully you're setting this up for me because the flow is just working. You are currently in season 4 of, okay, let's see if I can get this right. The way Ngankono.
Yes. You got it
Yes.
right.
All right. It's reality TV.
Correct.
How did that come about?
So The Way Ngingakona, which means The Way I Am, is a reality TV show that follows the lives of people within the LGBTQIA community, most of which who have never come out to their families, or their families don't know the lives they live here in Joburg or in the cities. I, like any other moment of my life, my loud mouth. So this one day I came home after doing a podcast interview and I looked good, my makeup was done, and I didn't want to waste it. So I was like, let me create some content. I created a video basically auditioning or pretending as if I am hosting a wedding, I think it was. And from there, Tembi Samtoda comments and she's like, you were presenting and you stopped. And I'm like, eh? She's like, you were presenting and then you stopped. Why did you stop? I'm like, it's just a video. She's like, no. I sat here and I watched until you stopped. Why? Right? And then people started tagging channels because I guess they were seeing what Tembisa was seeing. And the next thing, Moja Love calls me and they're like, hey, when I meet with you, they met with me, I guess, to see if the personality on social media is the same in real life. And yeah, one thing led to another. And I'm on season 4. We are playing every Saturday, 8:30 on channel 157. It's absolutely exciting and it's opened up a lot of doors for me. And I didn't think I want to be in TV, and now I want another show. Like, I've always loved radio and I've always seen myself in radio. I guess I can do both.
Yeah.
But it's opened me up to a world where I'm able to tell a story and articulate a story. So whoever's watching and has the powers that be, hire me.
Do the things. So you obviously came out to your parents in one of the episodes. Tell me a bit about how that went. Obviously, I don't know much about reality TV, so I know some of it is like, in Afrikaans we call it spoeg and plak, like copy paste, or not copy, like paste around and like move it around. So I think that they might cut out some things. So what happened was what was shown on television the truth? All the truth, and how is your relationship with your family now?
So when it comes to my story, it's been as is. I have, except for like one incident that's just hush that I can't really talk about, but except for one incident, but everything that you see on the show is as is. It's a sequence that it follows. It is as is. So coming out with my family deprived me of drama. They deprived me. They deprived me of drama, not even for the show, but even before then, because I've always wanted the whole "we don't want you here, leave the house" type of thing. The life you're living is against the will of God. My family didn't do that.
Shame, but that's so nice.
I know, but like, I want the drama though.
I know. I'm sure the producers also wanted the drama.
Listen.
So how did they react?
They were okay. My family led with love. My family led with loving me more than anything. My family led with, and this is our child. They kept saying it even every time a microphone was sent their way, and this is our child. And whatever journey you on, this is home, type of thing. So the only person that I couldn't bring on camera because she was very shy is my mum. But I then went home with a 30-inch long wig and makeup, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful!"
Oh,
and for me, I was like, "Oh,
Dom, that warms my heart." And I'm assuming that's continued.
It's continued. My family, my family, if I were to come back and say I identify as a fish, they would literally build a pool for me
Shame.
to swim in. It's always from a place of love. I'm sure when I'm not there, they gossip to try and understand.
Of course.
But in front of me, and that's what I appreciate, is that they love me beyond I could articulate it. And they show their love and they're not embarrassed of me. I'm not an embarrassment. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just Dominic, their son. And because of tradition, I have to conform to being a son because there's no non-binary son version when you get to the kraal and you have to take out the cows and the goats. And
you are Zulu, yes?
I am.
Okay, that's a whole different layer as well, right? Because the patriarchy in like you were just mentioning as well. So that still stays the same. You're still in the kraal doing the things.
Funny enough, though, one of the most touching moments for me I think it's episode 6 of the show. So in a kraal, women sit on one side and men sit on the other. Women generally sit behind the door. So when the door opens, they sit behind, and men sit in front of the door. I'm assuming it has something to do with protection, right? But also when you walk in, these are the people you're supposed to respect first, which is the men and then the woman. And I was sitting by the men's side during this whole shooting, and a goat was being slaughtered. And my uncle, who is from the rurals of KZN in Mooi River, he says to me, before we carry on, are you sure you want to sit that side or you want to move this side, which is the woman's side of the
kraal?
Yeah. And you literally can see me on TV swallowing my tears. And I was like, I'll stay here.
Oh.
Because for him to be that mindful to go, Dominic said they're non-binary, so maybe they're not comfortable sitting in the men's side. Do they want to sit in the woman's side? And
you're like, I want to sit in the middle because I'm non-binary.
You know what I mean? You can't sit in the middle. So I was like, no, for the purposes of all of these kraal slaughterings, I will conform to being a man for those purposes. But I'm going to do that in a dress and long nails. So...
And I mean, here we are. I love that. I love that. So such a wholesome part of the conversation, and I want to go back to some drama.
Let's go.
You know, speaking of the show still, how did you relate to your fellow cast? Oh, okay, rolling eyes. This is what I want to hear. Are you going to spill some tea?
I will spill some tea.
Are we going to trend?
We might trend.
Oh!
So, I came into the show very naive. Kumbaya, we all here to tell a story.
Yeah, we're all just queer and cute. Yeah.
You know, fashion, clothes, wigs, travel. And boy, was I dumb. I was very dumb. I treated everyone like my friend. If you watch from the beginning, you'll see me try and make friendships with everyone until we got to KZN. And then people wanted me to treat them like royalty. Wanted me to treat them like, without considering the fact that I'm home because I'm doing a traditional ceremony, which means I'm busy. 2, we are doing a traditional ceremony for people who have passed, which means there's quite a bit of emotion there. And then 3, the one thing that really ticked me off was I went to my brother's grave and there was no consideration of that. To the point where I got a call while I was at the grave. Yeah, sure, you might have not known that I'm at my brother's grave, but when I tell you on a call that that's where I'm at, a normal person would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, we'll talk later.
Yes.
Person carries on with conversation. Then they're like, no, let's do a little bonfire, you know, to kumbaya your spirits. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. It wasn't sweet.
It wasn't sweet. There were no marshmallows.
Nope, there were no marshmallows. To show that it was a coup to attack. They didn't even bring food to be like, oh my God, we're going to braai a little or something. Nothing. They just arrived. Upon arrival, one of the cast members let it known that I did not take care of them. I didn't even know where the rooms they were in. And my question was, did you eat? Did you drink? Did my family not take care of you?
Yes.
All of those things happened. Okay. Was there any point where you were uncomfortable? No. So which part of taking care of you did you need more than this?
Yeah, being a bit of a diva.
Right. So, they're known for it.
Yeah, I mean.
And then it was, for everyone who doesn't know the full context of the story, it was, I'm being irrational because I stormed off because I'm not going to confront you after coming from my brother's grave. I'm not doing that. Right. I went through a lot to keep my brother alive and for him to stay alive. And I'm still fighting even post his death. So you are not going to touch a sore point and try and make content out of it. So I stormed off, and then from there on, this person has done everything in their power to hijack awards from me, to hijack publications, to hijack stuff from me. And why I say that is because there's a screenshot right now floating all over social media where he actually paid people to say bad things about me on Twitter and stuff like that.
Jeez, okay.
So if you were to ask about my relationship with the cast, except for one, the others we kinda okay. And then there's one that I won't even justify saying their name, who took my naivety, let's call it that, because I was very naive, and they used it to their betterment and for their storytelling. And I do wish them the best though, because I feel like no normal or no sane person would do that. So I do wish them the absolute best. And if we were to be invited for the next season, you will stay 6 feet away from me as per the restraining order that you'll be receiving.
Sure, okay.
You will not be mentioning my name as per the gag cease and desist that you'll be receiving from my lawyers. So I'm fighting to protect my peace, because you're not going to turn me into something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's what I was turned into. Because I thought the show was about us telling our stories so that people who are like us, who can't tell their stories, get to love through us and get encouraged to tell their stories. But parents get to learn about what being us is. And this person clearly had their own little agenda. So yeah, that's what happened. The show didn't end off the way I wanted it to. But I'm also hoping that I get invited for the next season to further tell my story in a different light this time, and knowing better than what I did. But I think the assignment that I set out to do, I did.
Great. Yeah. Well, I feel like you do a lot of protecting your peace. I feel like that's kind of what your life has become, looking at the whole journey with social media. I know that you often talk about not feeling safe. And that you've said some very dark things to me before about dying. Do you mind repeating that? I think it's better coming out of your mouth than mine. No, that's how I feel about it.
I don't even have to repeat it, Mon. I am currently with SAPS. We're trying to find a gentleman who has made it his mission to try and find me to kill me. He has written on all of my social media platforms that he's going to kill me and how he's going to do it. Not realizing that I am the sleuth and the smart that I am. So I found him. I found his employer. He ran away from his places of employment. So we are trying to find him to have him arrested. And I'm hoping that victory will set tone and set a precedent for anyone who's thinking, I can be a bully and I can say whatever I want to say with no repercussions on social media. So I say, and always will say, until I'm proven wrong or until I feel maybe safer, because right now I don't. I know I'm going to die at the hands of a South African man who believes that the life I'm living is not correct. I know I'm going to die I'm going to die begging for mercy at a man who thinks that me wearing a wig and me kissing another boy, me holding another boy's hand is not okay.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm always guarded. I don't attend events. I have to vet events that I'm hired to do. And it's affecting my life in more ways than one, the more I get known also.
Yeah.
Because it means there are more people who are looking at me as a target.
Yeah.
So I don't want South Africa to be shocked when I die. When I die, don't go putting up boards and be like, I told you, I am going to die at the hands.
No, you're not. We're going to put you in a bubble. We're going to put you in a bubble. But Dom, obviously that's very heavy. And you've said that to me before. And I just, I think it's important to say, but is it all doom and gloom for the young people in South Africa within the community? What do you think?
I don't think it's all doom and gloom. But I think there's a lot more you have to protect of yourself.
Yeah.
So that the doom and gloom does not become part of your narrative. And I think parents are not geared to raise queer children, and it's sad, because if you were to sit down right now and ask a queer adult or a queer teen, leave 5, 7, whatnot, ask them, when was the last time you had a sexual encounter? You'll realize how many of us, our first sexual experiences were rapes. And that's the norm. And none of us are raped by gay men. We are raped by so-called straight men, pastors, teachers, and so forth. Because they can rape us and get away with it. They can rape us, and if we were to say that I was raped by so-and-so, you are ridiculed. You are laughed at. You are the problem. Mm. So that's why I keep saying, until women realize how intertwined gay stories and women's stories are, and then maybe they'll realize we're not trying to be women, but our point of reference is women because our journeys are so similar. Yeah. Right? Because there's also this thing where women are like, I'm not trying to be a woman, my darling. You only started voting in not so long ago. You are still struggling to fight up a corporate ladder. You are still getting paid less for the same job that your male counterpart is doing. So what makes you think I want to be that? Just like I'm not trying to be a man, not trying to be a woman, but I want women to understand how intertwined the LGBTQ. I think a W should be added in the alphabet. Wow. Quite honestly, that's how intertwined our stories are.
Yeah.
And until women start realizing that, and stop thinking we are trying to replace them. Just because your husband kissed me is not my problem. That's yours and his problem. But our stories are intertwined. So the kids coming up now, I am inspired by them. They get to kiss and hold hands and go on dates and dress up, all the stuff that we couldn't do or we were afraid to do. I love them to absolute bits, and I wish I could protect all of them. But I need them to also realize that there's a big bad wolf that's watching also, that's ready to attack and pounce. Mm-hmm. And you need to be strong for that.
Yeah. So, you need to be the Little Red Riding Hood, but like underneath your hood, you're like a samurai sword. Listen, you know what I mean?
Pepper spray and everything.
Oh, Dom, you are such an inspiration. I think this has been such a real conversation, but it always is. And I think you can't really shy away from the reality that we live in. I think, keep doing what you're doing. And also good luck with the bullies. Hey? And I think we can all put together a petition to get you a bubble to live in so that no one hurts you.
Or just get me in parliament so I can get security.
Or we can just get you security.
That's true.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Quickly, what are your handles on social media? I'm sure people want to go and follow you and see what you're all about.
My handles are the same on all my socials. It's Zaca, Dominic. So that's Zaca, Dominic. Everywhere. Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is for my family, guys. I'm not going to accept yours there. Twitter, I'm still figuring out if I want to double there, but definitely find me on Instagram. Find me on Facebook at Zaca Dominic, across all my social media platforms.
Beautiful.
This is 5FM.